Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission says more than 1.5 trillion naira hit Federation account in the first quarter of 2021. Afreximbank, Nexim, commit $750,000 to bridge the gap in maritime transport infrastructure. NNPC to acquire stake in 6 private refineries. OPEC revises up global economic growth forecast for 2021 by 0.1%. On Business Express for today, we shall be taking a look at the recycling business, waste to wealth. Details of these and more on the program, and it's coming to you live on the network service of the NTA. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde. We'll begin the business of the day by informing you that the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission says that the revenue-generating agencies in the country made a total remittance of more than 1.5 trillion naira into the Federation account during the first quarter of 2021. Chairman of the Commission, Elias Mbam, said this in Abuja while receiving a revenue performance report from the post-mortem subcommittee of the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee FAC in Abuja. The report revealed that the Federal Inland Revenue Service made the highest remittance of more than 759 billion 857 million naira, while Ministry of Mines and Steel Development surpassed its target for the quarter with more than 891 million naira. He added that more than 496 billion 390 naira was also remitted into the Federation account as value-added tax for the first quarter of 2021, surpassing the target tax revenue by more than 36 billion 803 million naira, representing 108.01% for the period under review. Now, the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, and Nigeria Export-Import Bank, Nexim, have announced a $750,000 grant to support the charting of the main channel of the Niger-Benue River in Nigeria. The grant is to assist the regional sealing project, which aims to bridge the gap in maritime transport infrastructure and improve trade connectivity in West Africa. A statement by Afreximbank indicates that a regional bank provided a grant of $350,000 to supplement the $450,000 made available by Nexim, thus completing the financing of the bathymetric survey and hydrographic and hydrological studies of the lower Niger-Benue River. The studies will be undertaken under a joint collaboration framework between the Nigerian Navy Hydrography Department, Nigeria's National Inland Waterways Authority, and Sealing Consortium partners. Like all fields of research, economic statistics has evolved over time in Nigeria, thereby giving more credibility to data generated from the country. Muplang Dakok reports on how far the country has come in terms of statistics and the importance of data for economic analysis.
Nigeria is the 7th most populous country in the world, with more than 200 million people and general business confidence of minus 15.2. Now that sounds like so many people in one place, but statistics show that the numbers would even go higher if not for the country's high mortality rate and low life expectancy. Statistics like the population figures, gross domestic product, inflation, Unemployment and trade, among others, influence decisions and policies of government, businesses, and even individuals. In the past, it was foreign partners that provided statistics in some areas as a result of the country's inability to generate accurate and credible data. How is the country faring now as the world fights to end COVID-19?
Continuously until 2007, when the Federal Office of Statistics and the National Data Bank were merged to form the current National Bureau of Statistics. If you trace the history, one can say yes, we have not done too badly. But admittedly, in data collection and statistic production, it's quite a large frame.
Experts are of the opinion that data generation in Nigeria has greatly improved over the years, but advocate, among other things, more details on the volume of petroleum products produced, consumed, and exported.
There is need to provide up-to-date data on income inequality. That will go a long way in assisting the government in planning its social intervention programs and other interventions.
It is the opinion of experts that all ministries, departments, and agencies saddled with the responsibility of developing statistics in the country publish statistics that do not differ significantly from expected data. In Abuja, Muplang, Dakok.
Now, the dollar languished near multi-month lows versus major peers on Tuesday as traders pondered the prospects for early policy nominalization by the Federal Reserve ahead of a key jobs report at the end of the week. Let's now see how much the naira is exchanging for other currencies. Waste recycling is another alternative source of income that experts say should be effectively used in Nigeria to shore up revenue and create jobs. Let's now hear how waste can be effective in the society.
Many of our communities and cities have been grappling with removing the filth and refuse dotting everywhere, which sometimes is overwhelming. Well, the waste could be turned to wealth, says 19-year-old Emeka Nelson Ugweze. If his innovation, a waste-to-wealth machine, could be put to use.
As you can see, the project is all about recycling non-biodegradable waste, something like polyethylene, plastic, waterproof nylon, even our all these empty takeaway plates, and if your bedrooms, if any of your shoes that made up of nylon, what the machine does to them, it turns them to refinable oil. That can the oil you will get from this machine can be further refined to get petrol, kerosene, diesel, and some other heavy oils.
Now, solid waste management is everyone's business. Ensuring effective and proper solid waste management is critical to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, can you imagine a system where nothing goes to waste and the environment preserved? Well, I have with me in the studio a waste wealth entrepreneur and founder of the Institute of Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship, Abba Yahaya. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much.
So, could you tell us the waste to wealth industry? How does it work?
Thank you very much. For the waste management industry, most especially in Nigeria here, is still an untapped industry, really, if we must be honest, because statistics has told us in recent times, we're conducting research that we have over 32 million tons of waste being disposed annually, just in Nigeria alone. And there are just very few people who are actually into this business. And I think it's because of the stigma that surrounds the business. You know, there's this popular in Hausa, we call it Babambola, exactly. So a lot of people have this, you know, low self-esteem, thinking that how will I bring myself down to go and start sourcing for waste, you know. But there's a whole lot of, you know, prospects in waste management.
Okay, the World Economic Forum estimates about $4.5 trillion, the size of the market globally.
Yeah.
Can you quantify Nigeria's contribution to that amount?
I wouldn't really say that there's so much impact yet from Nigeria. Like I said, a lot of sensitization still needs to be done. The government is doing quite well, you know, with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment, and also the SDGs, with support from, you know, CSOs, you know, NGOs and the likes. But at the same time, there is still a need for more sensitization to every Nigerian. Just like you earlier said, it's everybody's business. Environmental practice is everyone's business, really. So I think if we're able to, you know, step in a bit, when I say step in a bit, I mean reaching out to schools, students in schools, reaching out to organizations, you know, to start sensitizing them on the effects of this waste management practice, then I think we're going a step further.
Okay.
In advanced countries, in advanced countries, when you go to, you know, their airports, when you go to their business organizations, you see that they already have the waste management,
yes.
you know, in different. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
you get the degradable bin, and of course the ones for the bottles, the cans.
Yes.
There's just
Plastics,
a way they separate
they're
them.
separated.
But we sort of put all these things together.
Exactly.
How does this affect the sorting out now? How does it affect it?
Well, it really does affect it because, like I said, the whole low self-esteem thing too is centered around this problem. You know, when you go to a general waste where there's no sorting, for you to now start saying that you want to dip your hands in and start sorting the things out, you start having a lot of rethink, you know, and that's what discourages a lot of people. Because this waste management practice that we're talking about, there's this general notion that it's just meant for the low-class set of people, but it's everybody's business. So if the sensitization is properly carried out, I can assure you that when we start sorting out the different types of waste that we have, you will discover that more people will tap into the industry.
Okay, so how actively how active is the participation of people like you, and of course, what sort of relationship do you have with the regulatory agencies?
Okay, presently for now we are in talks with SDGs and also some NGOs to try to see how we can come up with a curriculum for schools as well as sensitization program, which we're even currently running one with NYSC as we speak right now. Yes. The reason is because, like I said, waste management practice, it cannot be overemphasized. It's everybody's business. Yes.
So can you give us an insight into what you're doing with the SDGs and the NYSC? I'm asking this question because most people will be wondering, this target, are we going to meet it at all?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, just like we rightfully have said earlier, nothing is actually a waste, really, if you look at it critically. And we also strive to let people know that, you know, in converting waste to an MVP, and what I mean by an MVP is a minimum viable product, you would have to tap into the creative part of yourself. And we tell people that every human is creative. Every human is creative, yeah. So with the NYSC, what we're actually doing there is training, is actually in camp at the Kubwa camp. So we're actually training the core members how they can put in their creativity and innovation in converting waste to an MVP, a minimum viable product. So that product becomes a valuable product. It's either they want to sell, or they are lovers of crafts, they are lovers of arts, and they just want to display it. I'll give you an example. We were training some weeks back, and while we were yet training, one of the core members snapped the bottle he was designing and just put it on his social media, just for, you know, the fun of it. And someone said, "I love it, how much?" And he came to meet me and he said, how much do you think I should sell this? I said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So just put a price. It's your first product. Let's see how it works. So like a joke, he set it for 15,000 naira. And amazingly, he was so excited. He came to show me the alerts that the person paid and he's going to supply the person, you know, that MVP. So he even said, this thing, I must go into it more. There's something in this thing. I have to discover more for myself. So if, like I said from the beginning, if we're able to carry out more sensitization, more people will come into this business.
Okay, now the disposal, like the e-waste,
Yes.
for instance, what do people do with them?
Okay, now I think what I didn't say from the beginning is that there are 3 major R's when we're talking about waste management business practice. The first R is reduce. The second R is reuse, and the third R is recycle. Now, over the years, there have been several R's that have been added, but these are the 3 basic R's. Now, what you've just mentioned now falls under reducing. Now, for e-waste, basically, for e-waste, what we look at is how we can reduce paper being distributed around and convert it to, you know, emails or e-flyers and so on and so forth. So that way we're helping to reduce waste management. So that's one of the ways we can reduce.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you think Nigeria can effectively maximize the opportunities found in this very sector?
Okay, first of all, I think the major thing that needs to start rolling out is the sensitization. We need to conduct more trainings because beyond the sensitization, if we're able to have more trainings, you know, coaching people, mentoring people on the essence of having their environment clean, and in that process, being able to convert the waste that has been separated, you know, into MVPs, then we are one step, you know, ahead to achieving this.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Abba Yahaya, for coming on the program. I wish you a very nice one.
Thank you.
Now, moving on, nearly all businesses have been affected by the spread of COVID-19 and the public health lifestyle change it created. Among the most acutely affected are operators in the transport industry. Nekauko, in this report on surviving COVID-19, tells of the experience of a cab driver.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Benjamin Kuba, a cab driver in his 30s, has been on the road in all kinds of weather and has seen it all in his 7 years behind the wheels. Benjamin started out in 2014 and never imagined his livelihood would someday be this severely impacted. But the COVID-19 pandemic taught him a life lesson never to be forgotten.
During the COVID-19, it was the worst experience I have in my life. I am married and I have 2 kids. At that time, I was having a business for my wife, but because of the pandemic, we eat it off because I was not going out and nothing was coming in. I tried to come out because of the hunger and the frustration at home. They seized my car with a bag in Dantata Bridge before the man understand. They released the car to me. So I went home. Since that day, I did not come out until the end of the COVID-19.
Benjamin could have easily fallen into despair, but instead chose to quickly turn his focus toward other things he could do to create value.
You know, it's past sitting at home because the business is not that easy, but we are just trying to help ourselves out because of there's no job in the country. So we are using that one to help ourselves.
He said lack of awareness caused him to miss out of the opportunity to benefit from the available stimulus packages for SMEs to mitigate the impact of the pandemic.
I have a lot of business to do if I should be able to get a loan. Like me, now I'm a businessman, but it's because of now I don't have the capital to start up the business. So if I should see loan from government, I will be glad and I will start up something.
Benjamin has since returned to his business, but lessons from the pandemic remain indelible.
This pandemic, it teach me that you have, as a man, you need to have a service. Because if you don't have a service, because you don't know what is going to happen next.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
You're right there, Benjamin, having savings for the rainy days. Now, OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo says the importance of the vaccination rollout in overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic and contributing to a recovery in the global economy and oil demand has become more apparent since countries first approved their use late last year. OPEC Secretary General stated these at the 52nd meeting of the OPEC Joint Technical Committee held virtually. The organization has revised up global economic growth forecast for 2021 by 0.1%. World oil demand is expected to increase by 6.0 million barrels per day in 2021. But Kindo said OPEC is closely monitoring developments related to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action at the meeting. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says there is no going back on acquiring equity in 6 private refineries which are being developed in the country. While the state oil firm said acquiring equity in the private refineries is important for national energy security, a statement by the spokesman for the corporation, Kenny Obatero, knows that the move is in line with plans by the federal government. The government's policy directive stipulates the mandatory participation of the corporation in any privately owned refinery that exceeds 50,000 barrels per day capacity in keeping with its statutory role of safeguarding national energy security. The corporation has identified at least 6 refinery projects in which it intends to seek equity participation. Gold prices on Tuesday traded nearly a 5-month high scaled last week, supported by a softer dollar and growing inflationary pressures, while investors awaited the key U.S. data. Let's take a look. Is expected to have vibrant seeds market and stable supply chain, with country having update law on seed production and supply. The Director General of the National Agricultural Seeds Council, Dr. Philip Olusegun Ojo, says the law and guidelines approved by President Muhammadu Buhari will boost seeds business and revenue generation for the sector.
Actually going into this, because other African countries know the benefit. A lot of other countries have been benefiting from this for a long time. South Africa is one, Zimbabwe is another one, Tanzania and Kenya. And we cannot leave our farmers without actually assisting them. We want them to have the best genetics. We are talking of increased productivity. If we don't increase our productivity, how do we expect to have food security, adequate food security in this country? And we in Nigeria actually supported a lot of other countries, particularly in seed and even in food, particularly we supply food to most of the countries around Africa. How do we do it? If we don't, how do we up our games for us to be able to meet?
Now, Nigeria, like many African countries, are in early trade. Shares in Asia Pacific were mixed on Tuesday morning. Boss Day Abel reports.
Equities have risen for a 4th straight month as ample liquidity supported risk-taking despite worries about higher inflation. Market Watch this morning shows that Asian equity markets hit a 1-month peak this Tuesday, buoyed by the global stock rally. Shares in Asia Pacific were mixed overnight as investors reacted to China's Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index (PMI) for May. Mainland Chinese stocks were mixed, with Shanghai Composite down 0.04%. Japan's Nikkei dropped 0.16%, while the Hong Kong Hang Seng Index closed flat. European stocks had mixed start after fourth straight months of gains. Britain's FTSE 100 is seen around 7 point lower at 7,022.61. Germany's DAX is expected to climb about 58 points, and to France's CAC 40 is set to add 21 points. US stock index futures were little change in early pre-market trade on Tuesday, while in Africa, markets were mixed on Monday, with stocks in West Africa taking the lead as world economy is clearly recovering. Numbers are yet to come in this Tuesday. Boss Today Able, Business Express.
And of course, that's a wrap on the first edition for the month of June on Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. The hashtag is BizEx. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Leah Katung Babatunde, saying keep thinking and doing business.